ISEA stands for Institute for Spatial Economic Analysis. It is a research institute housed here in the School of Business at the University of Redlands. We look at economic variables that have a specific effect on the local economy. These can be local variables, these can be global variables. We look at local job creation. Our preferred unit of analysis is the zip code level. People know which zip code they live in, and so in order to find out what's going on in their economic environment, they just need to look up the zip code that they live in, and they get the information about how well their economy in here in the zip code is doing. We, for example, also look at global variables like oil prices, as they affect different locations in the United States differently. People here in the Inland Empire tend to drive long distances to work. And so if oil prices go up, people here in the Inland Empire may be, on average, be hurt much more by this increase in gas prices or oil prices than people that live closer to their places of work. Our research was affected in several ways, actually. Number one, ISEA was founded based on the need to get localized information, since the causes of the recession were localized. So ISEA is actually a direct response to the Great Recession and its newly emerging information needs. Well, and moreover, of course, we look at the particular effects of both local and global variables and how they affect local economies. So it's a very different focus of analysis at a much finer grid than has been available before, since we realized that the economy is actually more fine grid than people may have thought. We've done that, as I explained earlier, with our analysis of oil prices. That's a global variable that affects local economies, quite different depending on how close you live to work, what kind of industries are located in your zip code, and so on. Secondly, we tried to analyze bellwether industries for the global economy, especially how they then affect our local economies. An example of that is the logistics industry. The Inland Empire is a stronghold for the logistics industry. But the logistics industry, of course, specifically here, as we're strongly dependent on the ports of LA and Long Beach, is a bellwether industry for the global economy. So if the global economy goes down, specifically international trade goes down, then the logistics industry will not do that well in this area. So we have a specific focus on the logistics industry. Finally, we really try to talk to government decision makers and in businesses to find out what are their information needs on the local level, so that we can provide them with localized information that allows them to make much better decisions. For example, that doesn't always have to be business leaders or government leaders. It can be churches, non-profit organizations that need information about how the local economies affect their constituencies and how they need to devise activities to alleviate the burden on people, for example, that are driven out of their houses, that lose their jobs, and so on.